3 steps to getting out of debt. Good to see you this morning, sir.
It's good to see you.
Absolutely. Before we get to the 3 steps, does this apply to any amount of debt you might be in? Some people may be 5,000, some people may be up, who knows, 80,000.
Absolutely. I mean, it really applies to all levels of debt, and certainly, not all debt is equal. There are certain types of debt that are okay. But this morning, I think we're specifically honed in on that excessive debt that really gets people in a really bad spot.
Yeah, it really weighs them down. All right. So, what's number 1 then? What do we need to do first?
So the first step is really kind of obvious, but you want to stop accumulating more debt. It's like it's a little bit of financial triage, if you will. You want to stop the bleeding and stop accumulating more debt. And then it kind of gets you into the second step, which is kind of developing a plan to start extinguishing that debt.
All right, so what should be involved in that plan? Break it down for us.
Well, what I typically recommend that people do is that they list their debt, or they make a list of all of their creditors, and they order that list from the highest interest rate down to the lowest interest rate. And typically, there are some monthly minimum payments that people have to pay to all of those different creditors. Right. And so after they've paid off that minimum payment to all of their creditors, then if there's any excess money left over, they want to throw all of that extra money to the highest interest rate, and they just want to continue to do that and work their way down the list until they've fully extinguished all of the debt.
Obviously, that requires some budget assessment, because some people may be saying, well, I don't have enough money extra to throw at that higher interest debt. But maybe there are some ways you can find to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are things, hopefully people are working hard and, getting bonuses at work, maybe, getting some tax refunds. If we can get some, tax reform maybe this year or early next year, that could provide some relief for people.
Get rid of your cable bill.
That's right.
Together, cancel that.
Yeah, I mean, we got
measures, right?
Yeah, we got football season coming up, so I don't think too many people in Alabama are going to be cutting their cable bill anytime soon.
Outrage right there.
That's right.
All right, so how do we put this plan into action? People really need to have the energy to do that. What do we need to do?
I mean, really, it's about discipline. Typically when people accumulate a bunch of excessive debt, it's through a lot of bad habits. And we live in a very materialistic society. We're constantly pounded by advertisers telling us to buy things. So discipline is probably the number 1 key to all of this. And I think you mentioned it earlier. I mean, you've got to find ways, if you're having cash flow problems, to cut things out of your budget, which will allow you to sort of tackle those higher interest rate creditors that are coming after you.
Well, as we wrap up, I know you and a lot of the financial planners out there, they've helped a lot of people. Can you give people hope? Can this be done?
Absolutely. Okay. It really just takes a lot of discipline. I mean, obviously hard work is the number 1 key. Okay. Yeah, if you sort of develop that plan and you stay on it, you can definitely get yourself out of it.